Rangers 0, Manchester United 2, and United get their first victory of their pre-season campaign at Murrayfield in the rain in Scotland. Once again, you know what I will say? I will keep the same energy, by the way. I will keep the same energy and say it is just pre-season. You don't want to get too carried away, but I'm interested to see what the coverage is going to be of this pre-season victory. Will they have all the quotes from Erik ten Hag? Will they be criticising the substitutions even though they happened at half-time? Will they say, Manchester United, they're not going to win anything this season. They've not learnt their lesson at all.
Disgraceful. Absolutely disgraceful.
Of course they won't, because it doesn't fit the narrative, does it? Come on, guys. A win in pre-season. That's not allowed to happen. My goodness me. But park that to one side. It was much better for Manchester United today, wasn't it? As you would expect. I mean, it's only logical. You've got a few more senior players back. Nowhere near the number that Manchester United would hope for. Of course, there are players that aren't going to be back for a while because of their commitments in either the European Championship or Copa America. Of course, there's still players that are dealing with some injuries. Anthony, Lindelof, Rashford, Maguire, all out of action with injury today. Terrell Malacia's on his way back. Scott McTominay's just started training. So there's still a lot of senior players that aren't back. But in comparison to Monday, you had the likes of Yoro making his Manchester United debut. You had the likes of Amad, Sancho being available. They weren't available on Monday. And you saw a much sharper, a much more aggressive, a much more tenacious Manchester United, which I think will be much more in line with what Erik ten Hag was looking for. Goals in the game, first from Amad Diallo in the first half and from Joe Hugel in the second half. I mean, it's probably worth talking mostly about the first half because that's when the senior players were playing. You saw, obviously the academy players come on in the second half. And we'll start from back to front. Of course, Andre Onana, he was back between the sticks today. Passing was sometimes a bit hit and miss. Made a really good save in the second half. Didn't have too much to do. Again, passing could maybe been a little bit more crisp, but on the large, overall, I think he did fine. The back four, you had Aaron Wan-Bissaka, wasn't too involved, some decent runs in the first half, some overlaps that couldn't really be found out. Yoro, of course, as what a lot of people, the eyeballs were looking for today was Yoro. Manchester United debut, only just signed him this week, been a bit of a whirlwind of a week for him, really. Probably a week ago, he still might have been thinking that he was heading to possibly Real Madrid. Now he's in the red of Manchester United. And you have to kind of think of a lot of things, really, don't you? First of all, he's still 18. I mean, we still haven't bought the finished product. We're buying someone that hopefully his potential is sky high. I mean, they say possible generational talent. Time will tell. The pressure's on when it comes to him. But as far as judging him based off today, I thought he looked really, really comfortable. Really comfortable. I know they'll try and spin it that there was a misplaced pass and it nearly led to a goal, even though actually his recovery from that was a block, which kind of helped stop the attack. On top of that, I'd argue that actually he'd probably be looking at Johnny Evans or possibly Collier to say, I think it was meant for Johnny Evans, if say you meant to run onto that pass and it was maybe just a bit of miscommunication. But apart from that, there was an opportunity where striker was running through. It looked like he was maybe waiting for Onana to come and get the ball. He recovers well, puts it out for a corner. It was actually his progressing of the ball which impressed me maybe the most there, how comfortable he looked on the ball. Couple of nice passes over the top, diagonal passes, balls over the top. So I think he looked really comfortable and he's really exciting. He's a really exciting player. I mean, again, he's 18. He's nowhere near his prime or his peak at this point. But in terms of a base level, it's pretty damn encouraging. So I'm very excited to see how he develops. Looks very composed, very reassured. Didn't look nervy, I think, at all. And I think we've got a real top player there. Midfield, you had Casemiro alongside Collier. Opening 10 minutes, 10-15 minutes from Casemiro, it was exactly like last season with him, in fairness, in the sense of all over the place. I mean, involved in everything, positively and negatively. I think in the first 5-10 minutes, he'd given a foul away, slide-in tackles, misplaced passes, overhit passes, out for a throw-in. Does just kind of everything. And that's just kind of Casemiro. That's just how at this stage of his career, how Casemiro plays. He flies into tackles, misplaces passes, but then it's almost like once the game settles and once he settles and he almost runs out of that burst of energy, then Man United got control of the game a bit more. Then his passes were better. They were more crisp and they looked a bit more to feet, and when he was playing them in behind, he wasn't overhitting them. So again, I don't know if that's a case of not being sharp. I tend to say no because we've seen him do that in the seasons when he's meant to be sharp. So I don't know. But he got better as the game went on. As did Collier alongside him. Of course, Monday, Hannibal started alongside Casemiro. Today, Ten Hag went with Collier instead. And first few minutes, I thought it looked a little bit shaky. But as the half went on, I thought he looked, again, pretty damn good. I thought actually he won the ball back in high areas. A couple of counter-attacks he stopped and looked pretty composed. Then you go into sort of the front four. Mason Mount had a quiet opening 20 minutes, but then got better as the half went on. I thought he pressed from the front, looked quite sharp. Could maybe had some better deliveries on set pieces into the box from corners, but looked pretty good. Obviously, technically gets an assist, I guess, for the Ahmad one, even though it's not really all that much of assist, but he did sort of progress the ball through the midfield. So I thought he, again, was building up his fitness. The two wide players, arguably, along with Yoro, maybe the two most impressive players on the pitch. Beginning with Jadon Sancho, somewhat, I won't say surreal, but Jadon Sancho, seeing him in a red shirt for the first time in close to a year. I mean, you forget, he had involvements in the first 3 games of the season. I don't think started in any of the games against Wolves, Spurs, and Nottingham Forest. Of course, Forest, that come from behind 3-2 victory, was the last game he played for Manchester United before today, because of course he wasn't even in the squad for the Arsenal game, which led to the whole blow up between him and Erik ten Hag. So to see him play and start was a little bit surreal. But I thought he looked really sharp, coming off the left-hand side, which is obviously his preferred position. Some nice touches. Probably should have scored in the first half. Ahmad cuts the ball back. Good bit of play. Got a minimum get it on target. I think he'll be really disappointed with that. But I thought he looked sharp. Good link-up play with Ahmad. Actually, the interchange between him and Ahmad was actually not bad. And I thought that was quite encouraging. But it's another option. Now, what his future looks like at United, still don't know. Still don't know. We know his relationship with Ten Hag. They've decided to draw a line on it, under it, put their issues in the past, move on, which I think is positive in the sense of just it's resolved, it's done, case closed at this point, and here's hoping he can stay sharp, because he did look sharp. He had a good preseason last time around, and hopefully it turns into something. Whether that's, you know, him playing this season for Manchester United, whether that's attracting a move elsewhere, I thought he did well. And then, of course, man of the match, you would say it's Amad Diallo on the right-hand side. Really, really dangerous. Really, really sharp. Goal he scores was a really good goal. Not surprising. He had the fullback completely on his heels the whole first half. I mentioned on the match, we just get the ball out to him because he looked so dangerous, cutting inside or going around the outside, both-footed. They just couldn't handle him at all. First few minutes, already they had to foul him just because they couldn't handle him. And the goal he scores is a good goal. Has a lot to do, gets it in the box, just puts it side netting. And we saw towards the end of last season, I mean, you kind of forget with him, don't you, that he had the first half of the season with the injury that he picked up on tour, I think it was, wasn't it? And there's a lot of hope and expectation that this is kind of going to be a big, big year for him. And I really hope it is the case. He looks sharp. He looks ready. He was starting to get opportunities towards the end of last season. Maybe unfortunate not to start in the FA Cup final. But I really do hope this is going to be his year. And hopefully this is the beginning of that. And yeah, looked really sharp. Got his goal. Maybe should have had an assist as well for the Sancho opportunity too. And did well. And then also Wheatley up front, I thought actually looked pretty good. He's bigger than you think, isn't he? Tall guy, hold-up play was good. And he was unlucky not to score too, with a shot cleared off the line. So Manchester United in the first half, much, much better, much sharper. Maybe unlucky not to be 2 or 3 goals up. And I think Erik ten Hag will be much happier with it. Because again, it's still not the final product. It's not going to be the final product. The players aren't totally there. And it's only pre-season. But I think that's very, very encouraging. As far as the second half, this is what you get in pre-season. Completely changed team. Momentum goes out the game. Atmosphere goes out the game. Sting goes out the game. And you're just kind of looking at that point at individuals to see out of these academy players who can stand out, who looks good. I think you'd probably say Oyedele looked good in midfield. Got his assist. Good passing behind. And it's a great finish by Joe Hugel. Real top finish. He completely does the goalkeeper of the eyes. Butland think he's going to put the ball past him. Across him rather. Instead gives him the eyes, smashes it off the underside of the crossbar and into the back of the net, and a really good goal. But apart from that, you can't really analyse too much in the second half because not too much really happened. I think the most senior player, apart from Onana, certainly out on the pitch, would probably be Hannibal, and I think he kind of struggled with slipping around all over the place, and probably you'd think might get moved on this summer, considering that the Sevilla move didn't really work out. Certainly looked like there was an intention to move him on, so we'll see what happens for him. But as far as players maybe into this US pre-season tour that I'm looking more for in terms of the academy players. Obviously, Collier in the first half. You'd be looking at Oyedele, as mentioned in midfield. Maybe Hugel. Maybe you'll see more of him considering the goal that he did get as well. I think also Murray in the first half at fullback actually looked pretty neat and tidy. And considering the sheer lack of options we have at left back, maybe he's going to play quite a bit in the preseason. So we shall see. But overall, much better performance. Not that it will get the coverage that the game on Monday did, because it's not doom and gloom at the moment. So we shall see. But let me know your thoughts about it in the comment section below. Be sure to click the like button. Be sure to subscribe. Bottom right corner. And I'll speak to you again very soon.